The more and more I learn in the field of conflict resolution, I consistently find that most of the foundational errors come from very simple miscues that we carry with us throughout our lives. It starts in childhood, it's refined in adulthood, and it continues as we go down the path of defending our thoughts and actions every single day. I'm Carl Piester. Much of my work sits right at the center of conflict, helping leaders, teams, and organizations navigate moments where people feel stuck, defensive, and unheard. And this topic shows up everywhere. As I continue to absorb just about everything I can on this subject, I'm finishing one of the best non-academic works I've ever read on conflict resolution. The book is I Never Thought of It That Way by Guzman, a journalist out of Seattle who writes beautifully. Two thoughts from the final chapters jumped out at me, and I want to share them with you today. The first one is this: you can't get traction with a mind that you are trying to outmaneuver or defeat. You can't get traction with a mind that you are trying to outmaneuver or defeat. Let that one sink in a bit. When I read that, it was wow. I need to share that with my audience. So, just a reality check here. Ever seen someone come out of a meeting frustrated and say, they just weren't listening? And safe to say they weren't. But can I ask why? Could it be that they were trying to defend themselves because they were being attacked, rightly or wrongly? They were trying to get a word in edgewise with someone who apparently knew they were right and couldn't wait to spill their brilliance. Forgive the sarcasm there, but I've been there. They just weren't listening. Well, Carl, they might not have been listening because you weren't listening to them. Or maybe they hadn't been heard. So they weren't listening either. To reverse some of these situations, let me offer a few thoughts. People don't feel, this is so important, people don't feel the need to defend when they feel that they have been heard. People don't need to defend when they feel that they have been heard. People don't appreciate being barraged with your brilliance. They appreciate you slowing it down and listening to them. You'll get your chance. Promise you'll get your chance. But you won't get your chance if you're taking it away from them. Clearly and simply end of discussion. In a conflict situation, the phrase, people don't hear until they've been heard, yeah, that sounds kind of cutesy and fluffy. It also is absolutely foundational. Let me say it again. People don't hear until they have been heard. Amazing statement. Many times we walk into conflict believing that the other person's thoughts revolve only around the current situation. Seems logical. But please consider this quote from David Smith, referenced by Guzman in her book. We have an assumption that people choose their opinions, but they don't. Their beliefs form naturally over the course of their lives. Let me say that again, quoting Mr. Smith. We have an assumption that people choose their opinions, but they don't. Their beliefs naturally form over the course of their lives. Then he asked two questions to help us get into those opinions. And the question one is, are you willing to believe that you are wrong about something? Are you willing to believe you're wrong about something? The first, oh yeah, absolutely. But they have to prove it. I mean, yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So we say yes, but underneath we're thinking, no way, I am so right. I am right. Watch it there. And the second question, which do you value more, the truth or your own belief? Again, oh yeah, I'll go with the truth. But underneath you're thinking, well, my belief is the truth. Again, be careful. Two great questions. So a couple of thoughts on this. Getting back to the fact that opinions form over a lifetime. Someone might think, well, you're saying that kind of we're helpless there? No. It's not to say that we're victims of our upbringing and can't change, But unless we're intentional about it, our beliefs will follow the course of action described by the brilliant psychiatrist Carl Jung about a little over 100 years ago. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's a biggie. Let's go over it again. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The same applies to the person sitting across from you. They're often very unaware where the reaction to the current conflict is coming from. They attribute it to the moment, but the roots are always beyond that. I love to garden, and sometimes as I've rearranged our yard, I've had to dig up a tree. And these are trees that have been there a while, 10, 15 years. If you've ever dug up a tree, you'll know how difficult it is to find all the roots spreading in every direction. They go out and they go down. And that tree doesn't move until all the roots are located and dealt with. The conflict works the same way. You're not going to dig up the tree or change someone's mind in this case unless you address the roots. And you can only address the roots, as David Smith suggests, by being open enough to asking those two questions again. And let's put it in the first person this time. Am I willing to believe that I might be wrong about something? Am I willing to believe that I might be wrong about something? And the second, which do I value more, the truth or my own belief? If you're willing to do those two things, you'll stop putting energy into trying to change the other person's mind, and instead you'll devote that energy to understanding the situation in depth, getting down in the hole around that tree and finding the roots. This may take longer than you want, but you can't rush understanding. Because if you rush understanding, the person's just going to feel, like we said at the beginning, that they're just trying to be manipulated out of their opinion. And that just goes down the wrong trust path. However, if you stay with the process, as Stephen M.R. Covey notes in his book, The Speed of Trust, you'll see the benefits. Trust comes from being understood and from understanding the other person. That trust increases efficiency, and efficiency is one of the foundations of high-achieving organizations. Changing someone's mind rarely starts with persuasion. It starts with understanding. If this discussion today was helpful to you, please subscribe to our channel for more conversations on leadership and conflict resolution. And if you'd like to take a deeper dive, you can find resources, courses, and more of our work at coachinggroupinc.com. We appreciate you taking time to learn with us today. It's a wonderful path, and we're honored to be on that path with you. Thanks so much.